Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules.
I'd like to welcome from Real Housewives Kiki, Jessica Joy.
Yes, hi.
Joins me on the couch.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on the first episode of the Jax Brittany Take Kentucky special edition of Pump Rules Podcast.
Here.
Yeah, isn't it though? It's so nice to have you here. Sweet tea?
Sweet tea. Thank you for the sweet tea. We're going to do this whole episode with Southern accents. I'm just kidding. So many people just tuned out.
If you like the Southern accents, do check Patreon for an option that you can pay for more Southern accents. So what did you initially think when you heard about this show coming to Bravo?
I was not into it.
Really?
Because it seemed like, I don't know, it's spinoffs rarely do it for me. Even if I love the people involved,
Sure.
It takes a lot for me to do a spinoff. And Vanderpump Rules is my favorite show on Bravo. So I was at least going to try to watch it, but it didn't seem that interesting to me. But after watching it, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, you didn't have high hopes. Now, you're a big Housewives fan, obviously. Where does Beverly Hills rate in your pantheon?
Of all of the Housewives?
Yes.
Beverly Hills is my favorite, followed by New York. Yes. So actually, you know
I was going to say, spinoff.
I was going to say, yes, Vanderpump Rules itself is a spinoff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you're right. Touche. Touche.
As Kristen Doty likes to say.
Touche.
Now, what was your initial take on Vanderpump Rules as given your feelings about spinoffs? Because when I first saw it, which we've covered on the podcast a couple times, I was annoyed because I didn't know it was going to be about the staff. So I thought it was strictly going to be about Ken and Lisa. And when it wasn't, I was a little pissed off.
I actually had no knowledge of it beforehand. I, like many people, were just kind of fooled into it like they kind of did with the Summer House, where all of a sudden it took me a good 10 minutes before I realized I was even watching a different show. And I have to say I was pretty into it right away. I definitely started watching it from the beginning. And I think it was because I loved Beverly Hills so much, and Lisa at that time was my favorite housewife. So I was down for whatever. But as I was watching it, I did think, oh, this is going to be about Lisa and her restaurant spin.
Right.
I'm glad that it wasn't, though, because Lisa on Vanderpump Rules is very different from Lisa on Housewives.
Right.
She's more real on Housewives because it's more her.
Yeah.
She has more control on Vanderpump Rules, so she puts forward this sort of character that, like, the headmistress of the school, which I think she's even called herself that.
Well, she's the mamaw of
the mamaw. Watch out, now Mamaw's coming.
Yeah. I like that Jax equates his relationship to Mamaw to his relationship with Lisa, which I think also means that Mamaw can obviously smell his bullshit even above the cow shit and the chicken shit.
And it means that Jax probably has great respect for her because as much as he
as well.
as much as he steals salt shakers and vodka from Lisa Vanderpump, he does have like a very deep respect for her.
Right. The show starts with a really great fake song. Right? What do you think? I think the fake music is at another level on this.
We've talked
series.
about this before. Vanderpump Rules in general has the best fake background music of any reality show.
Yeah.
And I wonder why other reality shows haven't been able to compete. And it fools me every time. I Shazam it every time and it's nothing. But this particular spinoff, the fake music is so on the nose that we were joking as we were watching. It's just like, I mean, they're pretty close to just saying like, okay, it's Jax and Brittany and they're going down the street, you know. We're
10 minutes into the show. Got to tell you where we're at because you might get confused.
Yeah, there was definitely a song that said, it's like a city boy in the country. It's okay. We get it. We get it.
First fake song is the lyrics are basically all the cool kids with their ripped jeans acting like they don't give a damn, which I'm not sure if that's supposed to, I guess that's about LA because
they were still in LA at the beginning.
Yeah, there's an aerial shot of Sir right before we go to the bar where Lisa comes to have the chat,
the exposition chat.
The exposition chat, very natural. There is a woman at the bar who is so invested in her drink. Now, go check this out. It's really great. She's so into her drink that she seems either unaware of what's happening around her
or hyper aware.
Exactly. Like maybe she's a little intimidated by the presence of the mamaw of Sir and she's just headlong into her drink.
But Lisa Vanderpump would kill you if you called her a mamaw. As much as she would like to be an actual mama, Pandora, where are the grandchildren, Pandy?
You think so? Because I think that she would have tremendous respect for Mama, and she rules.
Oh, the person Mama, she absolutely would. Yeah,
exactly.
I would like those two to meet.
That would, that would be great. I really would like that.
A third spin-off show where it's Lisa in the country.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw an article, and I don't know if it's bullshit or not, but it says that Lisa Vanderpump has recorded an album for charity. Now let's look this up because there's a couple great
singing.
Yeah, singing. Right.
Produced by DJ James Kennedy, I'm sure.
Well, that would be amazing.
Ain't nobody got me feeling like I'm feeling you, like I'm feeling you.
Top man. I could actually see Lisa singing Top Man in sort of a Broadway show tune, like Top Man doesn't. Top Man. I can't remember the lyrics, sadly, but Top Man.
I could see Lisa Vanderpump singing the theme to a James Bond movie. She's got like a James Bond girl kind of vibe to her.
Yeah, she definitely does. And she could definitely have been in any of like the early 80s ones. So this is on Blasting News, so I don't know how legitimate it is. It says, Lisa Vanderpump really rules. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules star recently added another talent to her resume. The restaurateur / dog rescuer / actress / reality star / magazine editor / winemaker can now add singer to her long list of talents.
Oh, wow.
Right? In a surprising move, Lisa Vanderpump has recorded an album for charity. In a new interview with The Cut, I guess we should check out The Cut, Lisa admitted she had a, quote, sweet little voice, end quote. While she didn't reveal the title of her charity record or when it will be released, Vanderpump's vocals are described as, quote, a husky jazz voice, end quote. Who knew there was so much more behind that British accent? And it says Vanderpump's pal Tyler Perry approved her recording, which she is doing for an Alzheimer's charity, a subject that is near and dear to her heart. And then there's some stuff about her having a musical past, which is basically because she is the star of ABC's Poison Arrow video.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and the entire minifilm Man Trap, which we'll have to tweet out, which is quite fun.
I believe it because I do remember hearing her sing a tiny little bit once on Beverly Hills. They were singing karaoke or something for her birthday.
That's right.
And you could tell from that little bit that she can sing.
Yeah. I would imagine
that would be interesting.
Yeah, I would have imagined that she could sing, and I personally would love to buy a Lisa Vanderpump album.
It's very interesting that she chose a charity for humans, though, because that's very unlike her.
Right. Well, maybe she's maxed out the animal charities.
Maybe dogs get Alzheimer's too. We don't know.
Dogs can get Alzheimer's. It sounds like a bad Disney film. Okay, so we heard all the cool kids with their ripped jeans acting like they don't give a damn. And then when they're packing, it's gotta get it together. Which I think is the melody. I don't know. They all sort of blur and blend.
You only get 3 seconds of all of these songs.
That's true, right. Yeah, and I really would like a full compilation.
I would love an album.
Come up maybe as a charity for the dog Alzheimer's that you mentioned. So when they land at the Kentucky airport, there's a really great fake ZZ Top in the style of LaGrange. Well, I think other reality shows, too, don't put that much effort into sustaining some kind of mood, which I feel like they really do.
Yeah, like they really do make the music fit exactly what's going on, and sometimes a little bit too much. But yeah, you're right. Other shows don't do that.
Jax is also a bit of a tunesmith in so far because he's singing like we're going to the farm. It's kind of like not that melodic, but you could hear it over a nice dance beat. Yeah, and it could really make sort of maybe like a Big and Rich type of rap country hybrid that I think he could have like a nice side career, which I would also like to hear. Maybe that could be a charity for.
I think we've assembled quite an album here.
I think so, but what would his charity be?
Something about like trucks.
Well, he does like trucks, though, because you know what you can do in trucks. You can drink.
I feel like he is a little bit country. We're figuring out he kind of fits in pretty well.
That's a good point. He is a little bit country. He loves the truck. He loves sort of drinking in nature.
He looks like he fits in those overalls. They don't look that crazy.
He mentions that he had to do the one strap because he has to bring a little bit of fashion to the farm. Sure. Is that fashion forward?
I guess it is now because the 90s are back.
Okay. Yeah, that is a bit of a 90s thing. Because I just was thinking that it just really didn't make much of a difference. And actually, I thought looked worse with one hanging off because it looked bad. I think that look is good if you're like maybe a rail thin model and you're on the runway. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, that's part of a look. But just sort of walking around with it. If you saw someone walking around like that,
I'd be like, oh, oops, let me fix that for you. Or are you TLC from 1990? Or
are you feeling all right? Yeah. After we hear Jax's great song in the back seat, then we arrive at the Cartwright compound, which is Turner Farm.
Yeah.
which has many houses on it, and there's a lot of family.
That's not unusual. I'm from Ohio, and I have known many people who live on like an estate.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a huge ground that all of the families have different houses on.
Right.
Which is crazy, but I mean, it makes sense, I think, for these kind of smaller communities.
Sure, and especially if it's a farm where, you constantly have to be doing chores.
A working farm, yeah.
Yeah, it's a working farm, and they're a tight-knit family. But I immediately thought, no matter how wonderful these people are, and they seem very pleasant, and I've met Sherry, she's lovely, and I've met Tiffany, and she's great. But anytime you're with the family of your significant other for an extended period of time, it can be great, I guess, but it can also be very difficult. So the idea of being on a compound where you're not just with the family, but you're surrounded by other houses with other family members.
There's nowhere to escape.
There's nowhere to escape.
Yeah.
And it seems like all of the conversations always center around, oh, well, are you going to get married? Are you going to marry her?
God, yeah. I mean, I wonder how much of that is put on for the show, but then again, these kind of people, these down-home people, and I say that with love because I am a down-home person. This
You're wearing
is
a kerchief.
but I am wearing a kerchief, and I keep going into a Southern accent, and I'm in no way Southern.
That Ohio accent is creeping out.
I do have an Ohio accent. My friend Mary on the Housewives Kiki show says that I say the word regular weird and the word milk. But all that aside, yeah, I wonder how much of it is show. Like, there's not too much serious going on this show. I mean, maybe we'll see some real moments later, but for now, this kind of seems like a fun little vacation thing. It kind of gave me the vibes of one of my favorite reality shows of all time, the Nick and Jessica show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where it's kind of like it does turn into real when the circumstances get real, but it really is just like, look at these two kooky kids trying to make it work,
Well, it's the classic fish out of water thing.
Yeah.
That'll sustain it for a bit, and then there's inevitably going to be conflict, right?
And there's inevitably going to be one of those fake songs that says, I'm a fish out of water.
I can't breathe because water is my oxygen. I have gills and not lungs.
Also, I have to point out that I said while we were watching it that I thought that her sister Militia, I thought that her name was going to be spelled Militia.
Yeah.
Which would have made sense also for being in the South.
That would have been pretty wild, though, if it was spelled like that. And then
this is militia. This is ammo.
We'll have to find out if that is a name that is found elsewhere in the family, or was it like a special name?
Or was it like, whoops, we spelled it wrong on the birth certificate, but this is what it is now.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of possibilities. Before we meet Militia, we meet Mamaw.
Mamaw.
She's got Jax's number, but likes him anyway.
Yeah. I believe her. She does have a Lisa Vanderpump vibe where when she speaks, everyone's quiet because they truly respect her.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like that Jax respects her too, because this is actually making me like Jax a lot more. I've always liked Jax, but I never really considered him very serious. But after seeing this and seeing how much seeing someone like Brittany love him boosts his IMDb star meter for me, if you will. Like, it makes him more appealing to me that someone like her cares about him so much. She
must see something that you didn't see previously, that sort of thing.
She's such a good person that if she likes him, then then there must be something in there that's redeemable.
This segment brought to you by Kentucky Muffin, the irresistible late night snack that'll keep you coming back. Some cravings just can't wait, and it's a special need when the hour is late. Feel the fire. Feed that desire. Satisfy that appetite with a moist mouthful that'll treat you right. Reach under the hood and get into something good. Kentucky Muffin. Vegetarian friendly. All natural. A delightful mouthful that just can't be beat. Salty and sweet. Kentucky Muffin. Kentucky Muffin. Try it today.
We've often talked about what happens next for all of these Vanderpump Rules people who are on this show as waitresses and stuff. Like, at what point do they find something else to move on to, or do they? It is good to see examples of Jax maybe moving on, not exactly from his job at SUR, but like
just outside,
growing up. Yeah.
And also seeing him at so many meals. I think we've seen him eat more in this episode than we have in the entirety of the Vanderpump Rules series.
They got there, they ate. Mm-hmm. They did some chores, they ate. They went to sleep, they ate.
During the sleeping. Which I guess makes sense because since there's no alcohol allowed on the farm, an important point we can't omit. I was surprised at that because back to the whole thing of, not that it's oppressive to be surrounded by that much family, but even if it is your family, that's a lot of family to be around for an extended period of time, especially when you add in chores and like sort of responsibilities that you would not expect and physical tasks and wearing overalls, but also the boots. What did you think of the America boots?
I mean, again, on the nose.
But where do you think he got them? Like, that's one thing.
He said where he got them. He said he got them at some...
Oh, he did?
He named a store.
Oh, okay.
But I missed it.
Oh, okay. Because I was...
It was a local store, I think.
Oh, a local Kentucky store?
He said it like they would know what he was talking about. I'm sure he'll have an Instagram post about them with a discount code.
Hopefully, so we can all dive in there.
Your diff eyewear, your flat tummy, flat tummy tee. Is that what it is?
Shit yourself to practically to death tee. Is that what that is? Yeah, that's just my guess. I wouldn't know for sure. I liked when I saw Kim Richards with the fit tee thing because there was, now that there's I guess in the sort of strata of Bravo celebrities, there's certain people you don't expect to see doing
Shilling,
that. Yeah, like did Kyle do one? I don't think Kyle did a fit tee. Maybe she did, but...
Possibly. Kyle would make more sense, but Kyle has her boutique, so...
Well, that's the thing. And she's also married to, like, the biggest real estate mogul.
Yeah, she's, like, actually very rich.
I know I've seen Lisa do a Diff Eyewear post, but I always feel like that's for a charity.
Yeah.
Kim Richards is not for a charity, I don't think.
Kim Richards is the charity. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Strike me down.
She's the one person that I wish I saw at the Star Magazine party I was telling you about going to before. So we went to the Star Magazine party with James and Sandoval after we taped with James and Sandoval. And it was just really funny because there was a giant Hydroxycut stand to the right as you walk in.
A thing?
I guess it's a really big thing. I know Sheena was a spokesperson for Hydroxycut for quite a while.
Is that how she's so skinny?
It must be, right? Because apparently Hydroxycut is magic.
Hydroxycut, do you remember Trim Spa?
Yeah, what happened with Trim Spa?
Anna Nicole Smith?
Yeah, but like they went away because there was also a guy named Crazy Cabby who was on the Stern Show a lot, who was a rep for them. And then just one day I'd never heard about them anymore.
I think because they found out that it was like where I took it for a while to try it out, and it made me like so jittery, so crazy.
Oh, okay.
It was something. There's something in there.
If it makes you jittery, I think we all know what it is.
It's cocaine.
What's the stuff that you can't buy?
Oh,
ephedrine?
Ephedrine? Yeah. Fen.
Is that what fen is?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Fen sounds so much more charming than ephedrine.
Wait, so you were at the Star Magazine party?
Oh, yeah.
Hydroxycut.
Anyway, but the most important thing that I found out later was that Kim Richards was there. And I didn't actually see her, which was kind of disappointing. So we find out that there's no drinking on the farm, and also that they have to sleep in bunk beds.
Right. So this is interesting because... there's this, I run into this a lot with...
Bunk beds?
No, bunk beds. Actually, yes, when we did our Thrones musical in Vegas, it's over now. You can't see it.
But Thrones the musical...
Thrones the musical parody. Right now
Look it up. It's the original one.
It's in Edinburgh.
Oh, it's in Edinburgh,
And then I think we're going to come back in the fall to the Hudson Theater. That's all in the works. But,
great.
It's when you are visiting someone's home.
Yeah.
I get it because part of me is in the camp of, yes, you're 38 years old, you're almost 40, you shouldn't have to deal with this. But then there is this very respectful Southern woman who's given you these rules,
right? And
it's the right thing to do to respect them as much as you don't want to. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I don't drink alcohol, so I can't. I mean, maybe if someone told me I couldn't vape, for like a week, maybe I would get a little testy, but I don't need to. I can stop. Mm-hmm. I did bristle a little bit when they snuck the alcohol in, but I also can't imagine that Brittany, growing up on that farm, has never snuck in alcohol. There's just no way.
I don't think that's the first time.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it in the home where it's safe.
Do it in the compound in a truck.
Don't ride your mini ponies drunk. Just stay in the compound.
But also Sherry says the only rules are no drinking and no driving, which I think It's her basically saying, I know I have a feeling that you guys are probably going to drink, so just if you do, don't drive. Because otherwise, why would driving be prohibited?
Also, where are they going to drive? There's nowhere to go in that town. The whole episode made me feel very homesick for rural Ohio, for sure. Especially because it's clearly... I'm guessing that was filmed in the fall, maybe.
It looks like,
October.
When they leave the apartment at the first part of the episode, that's their old apartment. So that dates it back to...
And they're all wearing, like, Lisa's wearing a coat. It's, I don't know, you can kind of tell when it looks chilly. Little cold. Yeah. And like the leaves
that was
were
a particularly
turning.
Cold LA winter for LA winters.
And I hope this winter is cold as well.
Really?
I do miss seasons. That's the one thing I miss about the Midwest. So yeah, watching these shows, watching like Real Housewives of New York or New Jersey when they filmed during the fall and the winter, it makes me so sad because I'm like,
really?
the leaves and the rain and you're wearing your sweaters and drinking apple cider. So yeah, and this, I mean, that just looks like Ohio to me, Kentucky. Okay. So yeah, it made me very homesick.
When I was in Kentucky earlier this year, at the end of January, beginning of February, I didn't plan properly. Being dumb and thinking, it's Southern.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring any heavy coat. I don't even think I actually own a heavy coat anymore. The only sweaters I have now are like LA sweaters, which are kind of like tissue paper. They're just like another layer. Yeah, exactly. They're just another layer of the same fabric that you're wearing already. And they don't really do anything.
You wear it when the movie theater gets cold.
Yeah, exactly. When the AC is a little bit too high, you put on this little tissue paper number and it complements your outfit. Yeah, when I was there, I was surprised that it gets really cold. It's the first time I saw snow in the last 3 years, which I don't miss. So it was fun for about 30 minutes. Then I was kind of over it. It was cold.
Yeah.
Do you think Jax could have said the benediction? Now, what is the benediction? Is that just like the prayer?
I think so. I think it's just like saying grace.
Oh, okay. But benediction is a really much more serious way of saying grace, right?
Yeah, it is. I've heard that term, but only in the confines of a church.
Right. And there's there's a grand ceremony with it.
And they're like ringing bells and doing that incense,
Yeah. But then again, that's the extent of my knowledge of that sort of religion. Well, yeah, and Jax says that he grew up a lot differently without religion.
Yeah. Is he, would Jax call himself an atheist, agnostic, spiritual?
I think
just
maybe
not interested?
I think spiritual, right?
Sure.
He strikes me as a spiritual kind of guy. I was trying to figure out what exactly was on the table during the meals too, because there was a lot of things.
Oh yes. Well, I spotted one thing that I pointed out, and that's that pizza looking thing that we have made back home. And I guess it must be just like a Midwest Southern thing. It's like you get a croissant layer, bottom layer, then it's like cream cheese, shredded cheese, and like diced tomatoes. I forget what else is on it. I forget what we would call it. We call it like cold pizza or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll find a recipe and I will message you guys and we will make it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. We'll have it for another episode of the show.
There were also baked beans, I believe.
Yes, there was baked beans, there was biscuits, and there was something else orange, and then a massive cake. I saw the massive cake. Yeah.
And I assumed that they made everything from scratch.
It seems that way. And apparently all by Mammoth's hand.
Yeah.
Brittany's trying to help. She doesn't want her help. Although maybe Brittany's a bad cook, too. There's always that.
Yeah, we don't know, do we?
We do not know. Just because she's Southern, don't assume.
Although she was making the frog's legs in a later scene.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Have you ever had frog's legs?
No.
I didn't know the frog's legs were that common of a food item.
Yeah, I've known that they were common like in the deep south.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they looked like that. I think I've seen them maybe in France or something, and they're very thin. But those
they
frogs
smoke in France,
had like a booty.
Oh yeah, they were large. Yeah,
those frogs were thick. THICC. Those frog legs could get it. Those frog legs would have a great Instagram following.
Well, what Mama doesn't know won't hurt her. And actually, two things he said kind of speak to his life philosophy in general. What she doesn't know won't hurt her, and if I can get away with it, why not? Right? That's the two bookends of his life philosophy.
That's the Jax Taylor memoir. It's just 2 pages and that's it.
Large printing, which you could actually cut out of the book and mount on the wall as inspirational sayings. You just have to have the right kind of cute frame.
I could see Kristen Doty having that as like a decal on her wall.
But then Jax and Brittany got into that too, right? For a while, I think at the old place and in the new place, there's like one or two things, like sort of inspirational sayings or inspirational quotes.
I was just rewatching the last season of Vanderpump Rules, and Yes, I remember it was beach themed. It was stuff like take your flip-flops off at the door.
Nautical theme, actually.
Nautical theme, okay. Yeah, kind of like a seafoam green paint.
That's right, which is carried over. That's how they did the living room and kitchen.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have a beach theme still?
It's the nautical themes is still part of the overall aesthetic, but it's not the dominant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
There's different colors in different rooms, too. The man cave is dark red.
Right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Which is very 50 Shades of Grey. The red room of pain.
That you could call it that. You could call it that. I'm sure he would agree. And then there's more fake music, which is Let's Get It Going, which is great. And again, I can't remember the melody. I just think like, let's get it going. Yeah, let's get it going. What is going on when that happens? Oh, that's for when they're drinking, is it?
Or is it when they're, what are they doing? Some sort of chore?
Yeah, that's right. Because Mama comes knocking. That's when we see the overalls.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's 7:30, Mama comes knocking, and it's time to do some chores.
Mm-hmm.
And the chores are basically shoveling shit or moving shit from one place to another. I like when they said that Jax gets grumpy, which I think that's like great. He is very grumpy when he's in a sour mood.
Well, think about it. And I can kind of relate as also being a 38-year-old, although I'm 38. A 38-year-old who's kind of been on my own for most of my life, living my life how I want to.
Yeah. It's
hard when someone comes along or when you're in someone else's environment to kind of drop that independence that you've had.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Well, especially when you're constantly being pestered about when you're going to ask for your partner's hand in marriage.
Yes.
Because at a certain point, too, what do they want to happen? Do they just want him to, like, get down on one knee at the dinner table?
I mean, we saw how that worked with Schwartz and Katie. It's like, just leave the dude alone. Let him, although I shouldn't say that, because Schwartz definitely did need to be pushed a little bit because he probably would have just gone on forever.
Sure.
Because he was just fine either way. What do you think about Jax proposing? Do you think he would?
It's such an alien concept to me. I just find it so strange. And then
I didn't think we'd actually really be talking about this.
Right. In terms of the chores, as Jax says, the only chore he really has is to walk the dogs, but Brittany really does that.
And then she makes him a sandwich.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The turkey sandwiches. Maybe he's grumpy because he's missing his turkey sandwich. Oh, and as we were talking about before, and I don't drink either, but I feel like if you're in that situation, you're going to want like some kind of like cute little painkiller or like a Xanax, just with you, so you know that
some melatonin,
anything at all, or like an edible, even if, and I'm not, weed doesn't really work with me.
That's what they could have done.
An edible would have been,
wouldn't have known.
Never.
Except you had to be like, Mamaw, don't eat that brownie. No?
The Mamaw just would have eaten it and then been like, I sure did like that brownie.
It
that
would have been like
good...
4 a.m. You look outside, Mamaw's milking the cows. She's like, no, I just got a couple more to do.
The other aspect of that is confusing is when people are trying to hide that they're drinking, they're leaving out the idea that you cannot hide when you're drinking. You reek of booze.
Yeah.
That no matter what. He goes over to talk to Mama and Sherry, which he's basically just breathing booze in their faces.
Yeah.
And these people have been around. They know what booze smells like, even though it's not allowed on the farm.
You know what? Now that you say that, I really do. I agree with you that I think, although it is a hard and fast rule, but they're all so good-natured and it's just such a loving, good family that I really think that they probably are just like, okay, well, they're just having fun.
Right. They're not happy that it's happening, but they're not going to make a big deal of it.
They don't want that for themselves, but they know that this is not their generation anymore. And
right, even though they're defying the honoring of Papa? Is it Papa?
Yeah, that did kind of bother me. It's like, it's your...
Because it bothered Mama.
Yeah. Mama.
Maybe there's going to be a sad fake song that addresses that sort of thing. Our favorite fake song so far was City Boy in the Country. Again, listeners, if we get the melody wrong, sorry. It's hard to remember them because they're kind of just all the same,
and
right?
They all sound like they're by the same girl.
There's a credit on one of the episodes of last season that says who they get the music from.
I need to know, and I need to get a job there because I want to be the one to sing these songs.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Because you show up, you do 20 minutes of work, you've recorded 100 songs.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just recording 30 seconds.
Your voice is going to be on 55 different episodes at many different shows. City Boy in the Country leads us up to Jax meeting Don. I mean, he's met him before, but Don, the dad, who in his interview sound bites really strikes me as if he's giving a deposition.
He was dressed like a lawyer, too. He was...
Yeah, he was dressed for...
like a local attorney that you would see on one of those local commercials.
That's right.
I'll fight for you.
He's concerned, but not very passionate.
Mm-hmm.
The dad goofs on the boots, which I understand. They're goofy boots. I don't think anyone really should buy those.
No.
Who would those boots look good on?
Those boots would look good on like a girl going to Coachella with like really shorty shorts and like a little American flag bra top.
No, you're 100% right.
Like Jessica Simpson, 2003. I keep talking in a southern accent.
Well, and also you keep drifting back to Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson. I feel like Brittany and Jessica Simpson are very similar.
Really? I think Brittany's about 1,000 times smarter than her.
For sure. More likable, more genuine.
Everything.
But same kind of like upbringing. Jessica Simpson has creepy parents.
Gee, you think the dad is creepy? How could you?
Remember he made an appearance. Oh my God, I just forgot about that until right now.
What's that guy's name?
Simpson.
Joe Simpson. That's right.
Yeah.
He's a photographer
he's
now.
Totally normal.
Yeah, I don't know what this creepy thing is that you've thought about him.
Yeah,
but,
Brittany and her family are so wonderful, and again, like watching her, like getting back to Don, is that his name?
Yeah, Don.
Seeing how much Don likes Jax too, it really does inflate Jax's net worth, you know?
Even though Don seems a little on the fence with him.
Yeah, but I think that's just the typical sort of like, take care of my daughter now, you know?
Yeah. Like he won't be impressed too easily kind of thing.
Yeah. But they all seem to really genuinely like him.
Yeah, they do kind of vibe with him more than you think they would, even though they keep saying that they're not sure.
Yeah,
about
I think
him.
that's...
By the way, it's a mistake to either offer to chop wood or say that you want to chop wood in any situation, anywhere in the world. It's never going to turn out well, and you're going to end up looking like an ass, no matter what happens.
You're going to get calluses at the very least.
Yeah, don't ever offer. Don't ever. Just act like you don't know how it works. Act like, oh, really? Oh, that's what you're going to do? Cool. I'll help you lift it.
Hay.
Yeah, which is also horrible to do. Mm-hmm. I did like the cute little pun when she said, now you're going to be lumberjacks.
Oh my gosh.
That could be the
title of the episode. That's what it should be.
That should be the title of the episode. And also a very bad sort of product line, maybe, with those boots.
Flannel shirts, lumberjacks.
Have you noticed?
With the chunky knits.
He loves those plaid shirts. They disappeared for a little while in Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
He had that one plaid shirt that he kept wearing, even though he got like bulkier and beefier, and the thing was like the buttons were groaning. But I think he still wears it. And then in this episode, actually, you know what? Matter of fact, so there was like an impromptu premiere screening over at, is it Flaming Saddles?
I don't know.
It is Flaming Saddles. The reason I asked that, every time I go to say Flaming Saddles, in my head I go, wait, is it Blazing Saddles? And then I go, no, that's a film,
a
Craig, and this is not that. There was like a sort of pre-dance night get together where they screened the first episode. So we went over the other night, and it was a lot of fun, but there was a Radar Online article that is so berserk that let me pull it up. So there's been a lot of speculation lately because, you know, Jax and Brittany will get into a fight, and then there's some kind of social media thing, or one of them will be pictured alone at the gym working out for a few days, and there's some kind of vague statement about you've had a hard week. And the online speculation has just been crazy. You know, a lot of people have posted comments on our posts about the show coming up. Why would I even watch that show? They're broken up anyway. I mean, like, it's funny because people will say this with like no doubt, no like hesitancy whatsoever.
Meanwhile, you live
in the building
downstairs from them.
They're still together. So here's the headline.
Okay.
First, it says in pink above the headline, shocking photos. Jax Taylor caught at gay hotspot after Brittany Cartwright breakup. The VPR star admitted he's kissed men. That's the what do you call that? What do you call it under the headline?
The byline?
The byline is sort of who the article's by. Oh. And by the way,
is that why it's called the byline?
I think so. And then this one's not credited to anyone in particular, just by Radar staff.
Oh yeah.
Very handy.
A source says.
Yeah. So the server gathered with friends on August 23rd to watch the premiere of Vanderpump Rules' Jax Brittany Take Kentucky at a gay bar in West Hollywood.
Okay, Sir is basically a gay bar.
The other funny thing is, the thing that they're omitting from this, so Jax was caught at a gay hotspot? You mean like with Brittany? Because Brittany was there. Yeah. And
that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you think maybe one of them or someone from the production, would they leak this story just to get some buzz about the show?
No. See, this is a story that's basically taking a couple social media
There's
posts.
Pictures?
Well, these posts, the pictures from Jax's Instagram. It's just, I don't think Brittany is in this photo.
I don't see anybody in that photo.
Well, there's, let's see. There's Billy, who you'll see in the next season of Vanderpump Rules. There's Jeremy Maddox.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah.
I met her at the...
That's right. At
full disclosure, Craig and Blythe took me to some things.
Brittany is in this picture.
What?
Right there in the background.
Oh my God, they're broken up though. Because look, she's like not looking at him.
And then there's her friend Megan from Kentucky, our friend Mikey, and then there's John Carr, all in this photo. And then there's Mindy Howland.
So they're using this photo to prove that Jax and Brittany are broken up.
Yeah, which, by the way, came from Jax's Instagram. So wait a sec.
Yeah, this just seems so boring. Like
Wait, like, this is even better. Taylor, 38, even posed alongside 2 male companions. Sans Cartwright, 28. This photo is of Jax, our friend Rashid, and our other friend Mikey, which is also, this is from Mikey's social media. So they basically just looked at social media and decided that it was an all-guy party, even though there's like 8 women in that other photograph, one of which is Brittany.
This story is so weak that it has to be... What's the motive behind it?
The motive is just Radar wanting to publish something saucy so someone clicks on it. It's really just about
gross.
It's really just about clicking on it. That's it. And then the rest of the article says, Taylor's sexuality has come into question on Vanderpump Rules before as Tom Schwartz revealed that the bartender has, quote, slept with many, many women and a few men, end quote, at his birthday roast last season. Taylor denied 34-year-old Schwartz's claims, but Katie Maloney's husband insisted he could have hooked up with a man while he was living in Miami. The man named John... See, it's just going into this whole other...
We've been through this.
Yeah, exactly. But this is great. The man named John made an appearance on the show during Sheena and Mike Shea's joint Bachelor-Bachelorette trip in 2014. It was then revealed that the men shared a room. I mean, this is nothing new. And
also, in these trying times, who gives a fuck? I don't think Jax is gay, but if he was, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Isn't it kind of strange?
We don't care about this stuff anymore.
And isn't it kind of weird that the whole angle of the article is like, spotted a gay bar with other men? So basically, just if you want to do some kind of article about the show, just take any pictures from social media and then write a fairy tale around it.
And write some fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. Fan fiction is exactly what it is. Oh, Jax looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, which would be, it's big on some apps, but, and that's, some people are looking for that sort of thing.
That is funny. You would consider, I would think that Jax would be a little more like able to chop down a tree because he looks like it, but
who's able to chop down a tree though?
Nobody that lives in LA.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I don't want to be able to. It's like I don't care about changing a tire. I have AAA.
Yeah,
and they'll do it. Like, I know I could have pressed into it in the worst of circumstances, but that's why you pay for services. You know, this might have been our favorite fake song, or maybe the second favorite. Feeling like a fish out of water. Really great. That was real. I think we were joking about it before, but it's real.
It's almost like everything we joked about then came to fruition.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, there's a passage in the Bible that really is appropriate for this. When people start quoting the Bible, and not to knock Don, he seems like a lovely man and everything, but that combined with the notion that, I'm on this farm for 2 weeks and I can't have any booze. No wonder he's sweating at the table. He's doing that fidgety thing where he rubs his face. And anytime Jax rubs his face, it's kind of like when Schwartz plays with his hair. It's maximum discomfort. Okay. Right?
Well, Jax brought this up. Again, I'm an atheist and I don't mean to judge other people, but people who quote the Bible, they only quote certain parts of the Bible.
That's true.
And then also we're talking about a man who has been divorced. He's on his second wife. The children have children out of wedlock. So what are you're choosing to be outraged about very specific things and not other things?
Then again, that is the way that you have to be in life, right? Because if you were really hardline about this stuff in the Bible.
Then you'd be a nun.
Yeah, that's right. You'd be a nun. And I don't think Don could be a nun, sadly. You're wondering where the line is, because what's acceptable and what's not.
I think the line moves, which is what
the line does move. The line always moves.
Because it's like I mean, the whole book of Leviticus is my favorite example, of course, because that's the one where it says, a man shouldn't lie with another man. And then, but it also says like that when women get their periods, they should go out of town for a week and not be around everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Leviticus is a very hot. Yeah, that's a hot volume.
Uh-huh.
What else is in Leviticus?
I think that's where the stuff about adultery is too.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
And that should be taken care of out of town as well?
If you're going to be an adulterer, just go out of town for a week.
When Jax does totter over to breathe booze in their face, to cover up what's going on, get the heat off them, he starts telling Mama and Sherry about the ring designer.
Yeah.
Now, you asked if it was a stock photo.
It looked like a stock photo.
You could really show a picture of any ring and say, I'm having this designed, right?
I think that's what he's doing. And then seeing their reaction made me so sad because I get it, Jax. You can do your Jax thing. Like, you could do that with Lisa and she would get it. You can't do that with these two good-hearted Southern women because this really means something to them. And it doesn't mean as much to him. And that made me really sad. And I'm very curious to see how this ends up.
So you're not buying it? You're not buying that he had a ring designer?
I'm not buying it, but only because I feel like we would have heard if they actually got engaged. I mean, unless they really kept it secret.
I do not know.
Yeah, if you don't know.
All I know is that he was spotted at a gay bar with two male companions.
Also, that ring did not look like a Kyle Chan ring or whatever. Who's the guy that they're friends with?
Yeah, Kyle Chan. Yeah, he's like the go-to designer.
Yeah,
he designed Kitty and Tom's. Yeah.
He's going to get a Kyle Chan ring.
That would make sense. But yeah, also, actually, now that you mention it, when he shows a picture, it appears to be a glowing rectangle.
That's on someone else's finger, too.
Okay.
I mean, you could argue that, well, this is the style I want.
Because they so want to believe that this is what is happening.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the thing of, like, not that he's a con man, but, like, he's trying to throw them off the scent of the booze and just get them off his back in general about pestering.
Yes, and I think that he thinks, I don't know. I don't know how deep his dishonesty goes because it could mean...
Well, you've seen Vanderpump Rules, right?
Yes, I have. What am I talking about? There's been 5 seasons.
There's been an ocean of dishonesty.
But I want to feel like he's grown up.
Sure.
So this, to me, if this was real, it means that he, at the very least, he is saying, I am thinking about it. Most of this is false just to get you off my back, but I wouldn't even be bringing it up if it wasn't someday going to be a possibility.
Right, so if there wasn't a kernel of truth to this, but we don't know where that kernel is and how large it is.
Yeah.
But also,
we don't know how many carats it is.
Right, how many carats that kernel might be. But the other aspect of it is they want to believe this so much that he really doesn't have to spin too fanciful of a tale. Because if he's just sort of leaning into it, they're like, oh, this is great. Oh.
But now what he's done is now he's dug himself a hole where he's on a timeline because now they're expecting a proposal like by the end of this season of this show. Because I certainly am.
I think they might be expecting it by the end of the evening or the end of the day following. That's the other classic maneuver that he does. He gets himself out of a situation, sort of, but just temporarily. Yeah. And then makes it all much worse. He plugs up a hole
in the boat, but then the boat is still sinking.
Yeah.
If he proposes at the end of the season of this show, and they've kept it a secret, and they reveal it on Instagram the day that airs, that my hat will be off to them because that is a smooth move.
It is hard to keep most things under wraps, right?
This segment brought to you by Girls Can Be Broken, Girls Are Weak, the new relationship how-to handbook from Dr. Jax Taylor. Hot on the heels of Taylor's self-empowerment Bible, I Hate You More Than Life, Girls Can Be Broken, Girls Are Weak teaches you how to lower the expectations of your lovers and live the life of your dreams, couchy style. Girls Can Be Broken, Girls Are Weak, available in paperback at all fine Chevron stations.
Other recent news is that Stassi and Patrick are finished. I think for good.
That triggers me.
Does it? Let's get into that. Why?
Because I am in the exact same relationship that she is in.
With Patrick?
With Patrick. I am the other woman. No.
Oh, that's very interesting. She didn't know till now.
Well, spoiler alert. No. The guy I've been seeing for 13 years, Stassi, it's been 13 years. You should just get out while you can.
13 is a lucky number, right?
Yeah. So. But it's that same thing. He's got his own life. He's successful. He's not big on social media. He doesn't has never really been in the picture, like literally in the picture. And going back and forth, wanting to live separately, but still intensely in love. It's this weird thing that I'm like, and watching her go through having to explain to her friends every time they're not together, they're together. And like, I've just stopped telling my friends. I've just stopped talking about it because it's just it's unexplainable. Yeah. So I feel you, Stassi, and I don't have a word of advice for you. Not a single one. I was hoping you would have advice for me.
Do the friends then say, like, what the hell? You've already been through this before. We've talked to you about this.
They used to do that years ago, but I stopped doing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
So now most people just assume that it is what it has been all this time. It's just kind of in this weird thing.
Middle zone.
And I think that is how it will be until I die, unfortunately. So, yeah. So good luck, Stassi.
Yeah. Well, but then again, I feel like this is a final one because she went to social media with it. Because, I mean, I think so. I mean, you never know, right? But because it's the kind of thing where I think she might have been keeping it under wraps when they were back together at first.
I would get excited every time I would see them getting back together, you know, whatever she's saying on social media, because then I would think to myself, like, okay, Stassi's figured it out. She's going to talk about it on her podcast, or she's going to say it, and then I can figure it out myself. But yeah, it doesn't look like either of us are ever going to figure it out. Maybe we should switch. I'll date Patrick. She can date my boyfriend.
Maybe that's all it is. It's just the wrong partner.
I mean, that's the sad part about it too. And that's, I don't know if she struggles with this, but there's the feeling of like, well, if I let go completely, what if he does find another person that he actually clicks with? And then I'll be so devastated because I'm be like, this is what I've wanted all this time, and you couldn't give it to me, but you can give it to someone else that would kill me. So I'd rather just struggle along.
Really? Now, well, what about the idea that the same thing would be true for you? Maybe you would find a person that it clicks with, and you don't have to go through that psychodrama anymore.
I do think about that a lot, but I just have not. I'm open to it, but I've just not met anyone that excites me. So,
but do you think that is because you're held
I'm
back?
hung on?
Yeah, like you're
for
not
sure
looking or even receptive to it because
for sure. Mm-hmm. I think about that a lot too. I was just talking to one of my managers at my waitressing job. She's leaving to go and fully pursue her like design career and stuff, and she was nervous about it. And I said, well, you know, there's so many people have told me maybe you do just have to completely jump out there and lose the safety net to open yourself up to what happens next.
Sure.
So there, relationship wise, I should take that advice.
I think maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. Talk to me in another 6 months.
This segment brought to you by Nastasia Bianca Candles. Combine, contrast, relax with the soothing scents only Stassi Schroeder would claim as her very own. Top flavors include the enchanting aroma of Hidden Valley Secrets, the complicated girlish glee of white wine summer, the bloodthirsty delirium that is pumpkin spice murder. Nastasia Bianca, the kind of candle you want to leave too close to the curtains. Nastasia Bianca, bougie candles, garbage prices. Nastasia Bianca, available now at all Smart and Final locations.
Jax says that he generally gets along with the parents of the girls he's dating.
And you laughed. Why did you laugh?
Well, I just laughed because how many
sets of parents have there been at this point?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think the amount of time spent with them is anywhere near what this is going to be.
Yeah.
How many times did he meet the parents of the girls that he was with? I mean, is he talking about all the girls? Because that's a lot of parents.
Yeah.
And did he meet them for like a dinner? Was it one little...
Well, we know that he was close to Stassi's family because we saw them in Lake Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And I agreed when he said that. He's like, I have a way of charming the parents because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's very rooted in much truth. I think that's one of his games. I've been on like Tinder or OkCupid a long time ago, and you see these profiles of people who are just saying clearly what they think girls like. So it's like it's a picture of them with their dog, or it's like a picture of them with their mom, or they're like, you know, I believe in holding the door for you. Like, actually, no, you don't, but you think that that's what I want. I feel like he goes in hard on the parents because he's like, this will make them love me once they see, and then he can actually be like a a kinder, gentler person around the parents.
Yeah, right.
More kind and gentle than he is probably around the girl.
Sure.
But it's all just kind of put on. I don't know. I tend to see a couple layers too deep of people, and maybe that's not totally true, but it seems
that's
pretty...
what we need on Pump Rules podcast. That's what we're all about. It's all about reading into
just the deep layers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think anyone who's this deep into the episode is probably fine with that. Hopefully.
Yeah, if you're watching a Jax and Brittany spinoff, you're ready to go deep.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right about that. I think he knows how to present certain parts of his personality to impress the parents, and really everyone has to do that, right?
Yeah.
With the significant other's family, like you're sort of figuring out what works with them. I think Dana, when they were in Lake Arrowhead, does not like him much anymore. She knows by now. Dana can see through all the crap.
She got jaxed a little too.
I think she got super jaxed.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the beginning she thought Jax was wonderful, the perfect guy for Stassi, and that ended probably about 3 weeks into the situation.
I also think, though, that Dana knows Stassi. And she knows that Stassi's not an angel, and that Stassi probably ripped Jax a couple new ones too.
I'm sure,
And she can fend for herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Dana definitely had his number.
I like the joke that Lisa had at the beginning about Jax getting clawed by cocks. Just any opportunity Lisa finds to make a joke like that.
She is such like a old school British comedian. I've met many of them working on cruise ships. And it's all that kind of stuff. Like I could picture her with some brandy and a cigar.
Unwinding after the night's show.
Oh gosh, she's like a book of dirty jokes that's on the back of the toilet. And I mean that with love. Like that sort of almost vaudevillian kind of yesteryear humor.
Yeah,
it fits her. It's the same way the Bond girl fits her. She's like from
Bond
a different era.
Is really perfect. Yeah. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for being the first person on the Jax and Brittany Take Kentucky branch of Pump Rules podcast.
Thank you.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at Pump Rules Pod, or go to pumprolespodcast.com for more information. Email pumprolespodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at facebook.com/pumprolespodcast. Thanks for listening and see you next time.